Okay, good afternoon, teacher. Today I'm going to present you the current trends in communicative language teaching. Let's take a look of the introduction first. Since the 90s, the communicative approach has been widely implemented. The reason of the approach is based on the notion of communicative competence as the goal of second and foreign language teaching. A communicative syllabus and methodology are the ways of achieving this goal. There is no agreement on how theory and practice of communicative language teaching should be put into practice. Communicative competence. The communicative competence is the goal of foreign and second language teaching. It is also the learner's ability to understand and use language appropriately in order to communicate in an authentic and social and school environments. Now let's see the core assumptions. The core assumptions says that students are engaged in interaction and meaningful communication. This means that students will get more active when the communication or the class is more interactive and catch more their attention. Effective tasks give opportunities to expand language and interpersonal learning. This means that when the given tasks to the students are effective, this may give them more opportunities to expand their knowledge. Relevant and purposeful content ends up in meaningful communication. Communication is a holistic process. This means that all the language skills are working together. The language process involves trial and error within the learning, obviously because as students are first learners, they obviously will commit errors, and it doesn't matter because it is what language process involves. Learners oversee their own learning style because it depends on their own needs. This means that depending on the students' needs to communicate, they will find their own learning style. Good strategies develop successful language learning. This means that the better is our work, the better the students learn. Teachers are facilitators in CLT method, obviously because students see us as a model, and we have to help them in whatever they need. And finally, learners learn through sharing and collaboration because this is what CLT depends on. Okay, now let's see the characteristics. And developing the communicative competence of learners by linking grammatical development to the ability to communicate. To create the need for communication, interaction, and negotiation of meaning through the use of activities such as problem solving, information sharing, and role play. Those are very common activities talking about CLT, and at the same time, those are good strategies to develop this. Facilitate opportunities in both inductive and deductive learning in grammar, implementing content that connects to students' lives and interests, and all personalized learning is applied to their own life. Now let's see to the 8 major changes in CLT that are the following. First, learner autonomy. This means that we have to give students free choices over their own learning as well as the process they will employ. For example, the use of small groups. And the social nature of learning. This means that learning depends upon interaction with others and it is not an individual activity. Curricular integration. Here the connection between different strands of the curriculum is emphasized. TBL reflects this approach and its main objective is to develop fluency in text types. Focus on meaning. Meaning is the driving force of learning. CBT reflects this approach and it seeks to make a complete exploration of meaning. Diversity. Learners learn completely different from each other and at the same time they have different strengths. So they develop the development of students' use and awareness of learning strategies. Thinking skills. Language should serve as critical and creative thinking. This means that they learn in order to apply their thinking skills in situations over the school. Alternative assessment. New forms of assessment are needed to replace the traditional ones. For example, observation, interviews, journals, or portfolios. And teachers as co-learners. Teachers are viewed as facilitators who are constantly trying new learning alternatives, for example, classroom investigation. And finally, we have the conclusion. Well, as a conclusion, we can say that CLT describes a set of basic principles of language learning and teaching, assumptions that can be applied in different ways and that address different aspects of the teaching and learning process, such as content-based teaching, task-based teaching, competency-based instruction, and text-based instruction. Currently, CLT depends on the teaching context, the age and the level of the learners and the learning goals. So thank you, teacher, that's all.